There was a time when everyone thought they knew the Gosselins, the ideal American family with 8 cute kids, a mother who was both severe and kind, and a reality TV fantasy that millions of people wanted to live out. Something far darker was going on behind the scenes of the happy family dinners. Coordinated clothing and smiling faces. Hannah Gosselin, who was formerly the shy teenage, is no longer a child. She is speaking up about her experiences with Jon and Kate. A reality much more intricate than the glitzy world of Jon and Kate plus 8 has suddenly emerged in her voice. Fans are devastated and at a loss for words because of what she has said about her mother. The unrealized Golden family portrayal. Real. The public had a stake in Hannah Gosselin's life even before she learned to walk. Hershey, Pennsylvania is where she was born on May 10, 2004, into a world where expectations, contracts, and cameras were already in place. Like her renowned sexuplets Alexis, Hannah, Aiden, Colin, Leah, and Joel, she was a member of the Gosselin family, accompanying Mia and Cara, who are elder twin sisters. Presented in 2007 as an endearing look at a loving marriage navigating the mayhem of 8 kids, Jon and Kate plus 8 debuted on TLC. Weekly, millions of viewers tuned in to see Jay's easygoing humor, Kate's no-nonsense approach to parenting, not to mention their charming offspring. Hannah, who was just 3 years old when filming started, knew that ideal family picture was just that, a dream. She was coerced into living the performance. The fact that the Gosselin house was no longer a home was lost on the majority of viewers. By now it was a set, from morning rituals to tantrums in the middle of the night. Cameras were placed in nearly every room to record it all. The show's plot was told without scripts through Hannah's antics, which included her laughter, tears, and even discipline. "We are all ambassadors for the company," Kate would frequently tell her. Younger generation. No, it was more than that. A company was involved. There was a market for every grin. Each disagreement is a storyline, a chance to get ratings on every birthday. There was no privacy for Hannah when she was a kid. National television covered it. There were already fissures appearing beneath the sunny narration and picture-perfect editing. Hannah had a hard time adjusting to her mother's strict discipline because of her innate sensitivity and expressiveness. Kate had just finished, notoriously stringent. She insisted on strict adherence to strict schedules, color-coding clothes, and constant obedience. On camera, she would chastise the kids frequently. Some viewers liked her strict parenting style, while others found it disturbing. As time went on, watchful followers started to see how. It seemed like Hannah was distant or unhappy quite a bit, particularly when things were heated. There was no such thing as privacy while you lived beneath Kate's roof. Even arguments within families were recorded for millions to view. After the fact, Hannah characterized that time as ordered chaos, where feelings were less important than outward appearances. Cameras didn't capture the weariness, the constant pressure to perform, and the need to be cheerful even when she wasn't. Hannah learned to repress her emotions to preserve the family's reputation, even while other kids her age played freely. After Jon and Kate, along with, at its height, the Gosselins were in every media outlet, in tabloid controversies, on talk shows, and on magazine covers. They were beloved by everyone, but there was rising tension within the home. The marriage of Jon and Kate started to fall apart when they were in the public eye, and by 2009, their split had gone from a private tragedy to a media circus. After changing its name to Kate plus 8, the show lost its luster. Hannah, who was just 5 years old at the time, was experiencing the emotional toll of celebrity as the family dynamic shifted. Beyond the shadowy side, confined spaces, it seems like the Gosselins were the epitome of a contemporary family when Jon and Kate plus 8 initially aired. There are 8 lovely children, 2 loving parents, and a warm, welcoming home where life is full of joy and education. A radically different reality, however, emerged after the lights dimmed and the crew dispersed, happened inside those very walls. From a young age on, Hannah Gosselin saw that the reality show she was a part was different from the one that millions of fans loved. A lot of people say that Kate Gosselin became authoritarian because she was so stressed out from being famous and having to take care of 8 children. To parenthood, there was a strict adherence to routines and rules, and infractions were frowned upon. It appeared efficient. if not admirable, on television. However, Hannah experienced a stifling sensation. Every single day was meticulously planned. Every detail, from what to wear to when to eat to how to grin for the cameras, was well planned. It was more than just living, she later confessed. We put on a show. Years later, though, when Hannah started to show what life was like inside the Gosselin family, the real darkness became apparent. A door, especially for Colin, her brother. After years of remaining silent, Hannah spoke out in 2023 on Vice, TV's dark side of the 2000s. When she spoke of her brother's loneliness, something the cameras had ignored, her voice was soothing yet heavy. He wouldn't be able to attend. Join us as we play outside. Her word was that he would dine at odd hours compared to us. Confirming what many fans had long thought, it was a terrifying revelation that the way Colin was treated was wrong. Dear Hannah spilt the beans about her mother's practice of confining Colin to a locked room. There, for reasons that remain unclear, he spent several hours apart from his siblings. Although it was years later, Colin admitted to himself that he had been held captive in that chamber, shackled with zip ties, and monitored by surveillance cameras. She did install surveillance equipment in her room. He explained to the child, "My mother would put me there, bolt the door, and turn the lights off." Professionals had recommended that Kate place Colin in a behavioral institution due to his particular requirements. Therefore, Kate publicly defended herself by stating as much. However, her own children painted a different picture than the one she presented, which was a suffering mother following medical advice. According to Hannah, Colin was not a disturbed kid. He had been silenced, as well as his breakup with. The household wasn't an issue of wellness. That was a penalty. This was about more than her brother to Hannah. The theme was terror. A gaping hole appeared in her mind as she saw Colin vanish from their routine existence. Something was perpetually lacking. She would remark, "We weren't eight anymore." Upon reflection, Colin was gradually erased from all mention of the show, from family moments to celebrations, and eventually became unrecognizable as the runtime of the performance increased. Hannah, who is not yet old enough to talk, felt bad about remaining silent. Those who had previously looked up to Kate as an inspiration started to doubt her tactics. Would it be possible for the same mother who encouraged many women to have harmed her own children? That is precisely what was implied by Hannah's subdued testimony. The Gosselins' meticulously staged picture of order and beauty concealed profound emotional scars, the kind that could not be erased by post-production. When the reality gradually came to light, Hannah's choice to speak up had nothing to do with seeking vengeance. Recognizing and amplifying the voices of the at times that were unrecorded. In 2023, she exposed more than only her mother's shadow side. It revealed the cost of a household where love had to be rescheduled to fit around TV time. Hannah believed that the family's honor had been preserved for many years by being silent. Still, if she wanted to break free of the burden, she had to face the ugly truth about the lady the world had hailed as America's supermom. In 2018, the escape broke away. Hannah and Kate's animosity festered under the radar for a long time. Hannah was 14 years old and prepared to make a decision that would alter the course of her life and the trajectory of the Gosselin family in 2018. She chose to live with her dad, Jon Gosselin, after being under her mom's care for nearly 10 years. The choice was not simple. When primary custody for Kate, of their 8 children following their contentious divorce in 2009, with Jon being mainly seen as an emotionally disturbed father. A possibility for peace, however, was what Hannah perceived. Jon, who was distant from the majority of his offspring, had long held the accusation that Kate was excessively domineering. Upon Hannah's, started paying him more visits. He could feel her growing anxiety and protectiveness. She began to spend more and more time at his house until she finally dropped the bombshell that she didn't want to return. According to Jon, Hannah's bravery was the driving force behind his custody battle. From what he remembered, she was courageous. She merely yearned for an ordinary existence. Full custody of Hannah was awarded to Jon in 2018 following a discreet court procedure. After Colin was released from the mental institution where he had been confined when he was 12 years old, he quickly joined them. In the beginning, At the time, Kate had no control over 2 of the 8 Gosselin children, although there was a price to pay for this independence. Hannah and her siblings had a strained relationship. Communication dwindled. Inconvenient visits. The sexuplets, who were formerly inseparable, were now separated by distance and loyalty. Along with Kate and Jon, there were some. What the tabloids reported made it seem like the Gosselin family dispute was heating up again. But Hannah's experience was considerably more straightforward. Staying alive, she went on to say that her time spent with Jon was normal. For her, that was a very significant term. Now that she had a break from filming, scheduling, and discipline, she could relax, open up, and feel comfortable. The viewpoint, anguish, and empathy of a daughter, as far as the news story is concerning. Notwithstanding the challenges she faced with treachery and custody fights, Hannah refrained from using her narrative as an excuse to attack. Even in interviews, her tone has never wavered. It has been controlled emotion. She made the comment, "My mom wasn't perfect. Once. Neither parent is." The simplicity of the words belies the depth of her. Complex emotions, a blend of suffering and empathy that only an offspring of societal anarchy could comprehend. Some of Hannah's siblings chose to stay quiet, but Hannah broke the ice by discussing the immense pressure she felt as a child. Regardless of situation, she insisted that it should all revolve around the brand. They were expected to dress in a way that their mother desired the world to perceive. She adhered to their regulations for a long time, but when she moved in with Jon, she saw a whole new world. As she put it in an interview, "I can finally be myself. I am not here to advocate for anyone. Not now." Hannah might find solace in Jon's home, he said. The mental strain, strict dietary regimens, and cameras all disappeared. Hannah felt truly alone for the very first time. Having friends, messing up, and generally being a teenage, she made sure her siblings were still in her thoughts as she started over. "They're part of me in a way no one else can understand," she pointed out. In many of her accounts, Hannah cited her sister Leah as the person she spent the most time with. She persevered through the physical and mental barriers that stood in her way. "I pray that the family will be able to get back together without all the drama, contracts, cameras, pain, public scrutiny, and Colin's voice." The truth was blown wide open by Colin's account, even more so than by Hannah's testimony. He made unsettling claims about his childhood, including Kate's assault, in interviews that he gave throughout 2023. Began at the age of 8 or 9. He said that he was singled out, subjected to harsher punishments than his siblings, and confined only for his interference. The stunning nature of his statements was amplified by his composed delivery. He said she had a room outfitted with surveillance cameras. It was secured from the outside with a bolt lock. A new storm rolled into the Gosselin household after Colin's comments went viral. Kate made a public statement in response, asserting that her son had a warped view of reality and several mental diagnoses. Claiming to have been supervised by experts, she justified her actions. Along with her mother, the eldest daughter, Mia, accused Colin of being violent towards other people. Colleen Conrad, who has dated Jon for a long time, supported Colin, stating that he is a good person and that the accusations are unfounded, fabricated charges against him. Halt in the center, Hannah felt the pull of truth, loyalty, and weariness. She stayed out of the public controversy. She chose to be calm and deliberate instead. During an interview in 2024, she revealed that she had started getting back in touch with her mom after a long separation. "We chat about life in school," remarking, "She's my mom." Though brief, the message conveyed the significance of forgiveness, or the start of it, at the very least. Hannah begins a new chapter. Hannah had matured into an assured young lady by the year 2024. She began dating teenage model Lennon Johnson Jr. in 2023, the same year she graduated from high school and launched her skincare line, Gosselin Girl Beauty. In New York, she was spotted with her dad, city where they discussed their 75-pound weight loss on Tamron Hall's show. Photos of Hannah from a different time showed her laughing, dancing, and glowing. However, the unseen wounds from her history persisted, causing profound pain. Conflict is simply one aspect of her story. The film explores the themes of perseverance and coming into one's own after formative years consumed by reality TV. Hannah, the sexuplet, was once the center of attention. Hannah, a woman of 20 years old, has been through more than most adults her age. Even now, she maintains contact. She keeps in touch with Jon, who has been there for her through thick and thin, visits with Kate from time to time, and spends time with some of her siblings. However, the Gosselin family is still very much divided. New York is home to the twins, just 4 out of the 6-pack.